Hello, my name is Cactus Con Carne. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome back to the only YouTube cooking show that you need to be watching. Today, we're doing Cactus Cooks, the internet. Now, I've been into tea a lot lately. I don't know about any of you guys, but I love tea. I've got millions of different types in my tea cupboard. But today, what we're going to do is I'm going to be making a tea cake. Now, it's not just a cake that you have with your tea, it's got tea in it. And to do a really crappy impression, yo dog, I heard you like tea, so we're going to put tea in your cake so you can eat your tea while you're drinking your tea. Yeah, that's why I don't do impressions. Let's look at the ingredients for what we got. So you need 1/2 cup of milk. I'm using cream. I'm using the half and half. Why am I using that? Because I don't put milk in my tea. I put cream in my tea. And I think it'll give it a better texture to it. You need 4 tea bags. Now, it recommends to use Earl Grey tea because it's got what they call bergamot. Now, I don't actually know what bergamot is, but it's the flavor in Earl Grey that makes it, you know, the citrusy smell, taste, whatever. Now, I've made it with the Earl Grey before, but I'm going to use, this is Ceylon tea. Now, not Cylon as in the bad guys from Battlestar Galactica. Ceylon like this. And I'm going to try it to see if it's going to work. If it doesn't, I'll let you know. But hopefully this works out. But I do have some double bergamot Earl Grey that I've used before. Just some stash double bergamot is very good. It's obviously got a lot of bergamot in it, so it comes through in the cake very well. So that's that. Then you need a 1/2 cup melted butter, which is roughly about a stick. I've weighed this. It's a cup or 1/2 cup, a little bit over 1/2 cup. So weighing is your friend. 2 tablespoons of honey. Now mine is very liquidy, so I don't need to do anything special to it. If yours is a little bit more solid, you can melt it with your butter, and it's just fine. Honey doesn't really have an expiration date. They have to put one on there because they're required to by law. But I mean, people have found honey in the Egyptian pyramids and have eaten the candies, and they're just fine. You need 3/4 cup of sugar. Now, if you're paying attention at home, that is 6 ounces by weight. Okay? Weighing is your friend. You need 2 eggs, a 1.5 cups, which again, by weight is 12 ounces. All-purpose flour, not bread flour. All-purpose will do just fine. You need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I have in here already, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder, which is also in here already. Make sure your baking powder is within its date. This is one of those things that you have to actually pay attention to the expiration date, or else it won't actually work for your baking needs. It won't make your baking fluffy and all that other good stuff. So usually there's an expiration date on the bottom. Mine's still good for another couple years. It lasts quite a while. The last thing you need just for the cake is the zest of 1 lemon. Now you're probably asking me, Cactus, what is zest of a lemon? If you don't know what zest is, it is just the yellow part of the peel of the lemon. The white part is bitter and nasty. It's also known as the pith. And no, I do not have a lisp. It is called the pith. P-I-T-H, pith. So, if you do not know how to zest a lemon, there are a couple different ways you can do it. I've got about 3 that I'm going to show you. I've got a tiny little box grater here that's perfect for that. It's got a tiny little grating part on it here. This is for more pulverizing of your garlic and stuff like that. Don't use that. Use the small, the finest shredding part of your box grater. Speaking of box graters, I've also got a big one, and it's also got the fine spot on it. Use that. Or you can use what they've invented for these things. It's called a rasp or a micro mesh, or you can even call it a zester, because it usually is only used for that. But you can use it for a variety of other things like cheeses and things like that you want really fine. Now, this fits over any bowl. And you take your lemon, minus your sticker. It's good fiber if you accidentally eat that. Wash it. I'm not concerned. My wife's telling me you need to wash it. If you're big on things like that, go ahead. I've never washed any of my fruit, and I'm still alive. So take it, and you want to pull it across whatever you are using to zest it. Now you want to do it once, and pick it up and turn it every time you move it. Because if you keep going, you will get into the pith. And keep turning it until you get all of your zest off your lemon. I'm going to cut here, and we're going to find out what it actually looks like after the fact. Alright, so this is what my lemon looks like. I've kind of avoided this little tiny area because I don't want to get too much of this, because a lot of this is just pith. But you can see I've missed some spots, and it doesn't really matter that much. You don't want to pay too much attention to it, because like I said, you're going to just overdo it and get all the pith. So this is roughly what my lemon has produced, and you can smell it. Unfortunately, there's no smell-o-vision, but that's what you want, is just the zest because of its aromatic, and that's what is going to happen in your cake, and you're going to taste that and smell it and whatever. So that is the zest of one lemon. And how to zest one lemon. You can take this, plop it in your refrigerator, cover it up if you really want to, because it will dry out now that it doesn't have a peel on it. But you can chop it up, use it in your, I don't know, your margarita or whatever you crazy kids do with lemons these days. Eat it if you really want to. I know people are just into eating lemons these days. But it's still a decent lemon, so do not throw this away. You can always use it for something else later. You can also, there's a syrup that goes along with it. You can use the juice of this lemon for that. But I have opted to not use the juice of this lemon because, to me, juicing the lemon is kind of wasting it, because you've got all that pulp and everything you're just going to throw away. You don't want that. So I've just bought real lemon, just like this. And this will obviously keep a lot longer in your fridge. This can be used for other things, for its meat, fleshy, whatever goodness on the inside. So I'm just going to pop this. Once you get all of your ingredients together, the first thing you need to do is you need to take your milk, cream, whatever you decide to do, and get yourself a little saucepan and heat this. Now you want to heat it on low, because you don't want to heat it on high or else it will curdle. So the lowest temperature possible, and then take 2 of your 4 tea bags and throw them straight in there. And you want them to steep in the hot liquid for about a half an hour. Okay? Just to get the tea infused in the liquid. Okay? So we'll come back to that. I'm going to throw my milk on and we'll come back to the next step after I've got the infused milk. Alright, so when your milk is steeping with your tea, go ahead and preheat your oven to 325. Oops, 25. And go ahead and grease yourself a loaf pan. Now, this is non-stick. You shouldn't have to grease non-stick, but every time I've ever made anything in one of these, it sticks. So I've gone ahead and greased it, and we'll see how good it comes out. Set that aside for now. Let's go over to the dry. Okay, so the other 2 tea bags you should break up. And they're not really, if it's not really that fine, get yourself maybe a coffee grinder and grind it up a little bit more, or just, if you have a mortar and pestle, just take it and grind it up slightly. You don't need to do that much more. Mine is actually pretty fine, but I'm just going to give it a couple things like this. If you don't have either of these things, if you don't have a coffee grinder, if you don't have a mortar and pestle, don't worry about it. Just you can add them straight to your dish, just like that. You'll just be eating bigger pieces of tea, which isn't a bad thing. You always can eat tea. So, okay, so in your electric mixer or mixing bowl with your hand mixer, you want to take your butter, which was a cup and a half, oh not a cup and a half, sorry, half a cup by weight, into your mixing bowl. You don't want that cooled, you don't want it piping hot, but you do want it melted. You also want to take your honey, straight in there, just like that. Get it all off. And you also want to take your sugar, also known as your wet team. Yes, again, sugar is a wet team. Explained it before, just the way that the science works, sugar is part of the wet team. Now, mix it and add the eggs one at a time and beat well after each addition. So we're going to start slow. 1, 2. Just one at a time. Just beat them straight into the bowl here. Just like this. Make sure it's all nice and mixed before you add your second egg. And then you ramp that up just a little bit. Just second egg, put it in there. Wash your hands when you get eggs on them. Now, once that's mixed, add your flour, salt, and baking powder mix until it is combined. So I'm going to start adding it slowly. We'll come back to it once it's nice and mixed. Make sure you stop to scrape down the bowl every now and again, unless you have one of those fancy bowl scraper attachments for your mixer. It's going to kind of look like a clumpy mess right now, because that's exactly what it is. Because you need your milk mixture right here in this little pot. Ooh. Milk mixture, you need your tea, from the 2 tea bags. And you also need your lemon zest. Throw your lemon zest in there. Make sure not to waste any of it. Get that all nice in there. That's why we use silicone for things like that. Non-stick. Pour your milk in there. And dump your tea leaves in there. And you want to make sure you mix all of this stuff until it's well combined as well. And scrape down your bowl and all that good stuff. So once it's all mixed, we're going to come back to it. Remember how I said you needed a good bowl scraper? That's exactly where this comes in. Scrape all of this goodness into your loaf pan. Pop it straight into the 325 oven. In the middle of your oven rack, just like this. For 1 hour. Or until you stick a toothpick in the middle and it comes out clean. Okay, so once your cake has cooled for around 10 minutes, still warm, what you want to do is you want to whip together the syrup. Now this is entirely optional. This is the first time I've ever done this. So the syrup is 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of honey, a 1/4 cup of hot water, and 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And I've got it all right here. And I'm just going to essentially take a knife and poke some holes into my cake. Oh, hopefully it doesn't break apart too much. And brush this on the top. So just stab it a whole bunch. And like I said, just take it, brush it all on the top of it like this. If you have extra, you can take it and put it in the fridge, and you can just add it straight to your tea. And it is apparently very good in tea as a nice sweetener. Once you got it nice and soaked on the top, you can either let it sit and cool off completely, or do what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie into it right now and have me a slice, just so that you guys can see what it looks like. So, the moment of truth. Ready? Dun, 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 dun. All your black flecks are, of course, tea, and nice. You really don't have to saw through it that much, but a nice slice of the tea cake. Now, you can put some margarine on this, or you can leave it as is. When it's hot like this, I wouldn't actually. It's just getting wet from the mixture. So when it's hot like this, I wouldn't actually use it in your tea yet. Eat it beside it. Don't dunk it in because it'll fall straight apart. I wait until it cools, and then you can have it and dip in your tea like most people do. So this is Ceylon tea cake, and is very lemony right now because of the syrup. You wait for that to sink in a little bit more. But it's very tea-y. And it's a nice, moist, dense cake. Very inexpensive to do if you have the ingredients, which a lot of them are household ingredients like the flour, the tea. The lemon was the only thing that I really had to go out and buy, which was about $1 for a lemon. It's not too much money. You still get to use that lemon after all. And that's about it. That's it for me. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff on social media, and we'll see you next time.